Isn't that a nice little beard, though, huh?
Gang fight! Take out Gypsy! Yeah!
As I'm getting older, chip upon my shoulder, rolling through life, you roll over and die.
Hey guys, it's Streed, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 1960s Jack Nicholson biker flick, Hell's Angels on Wheels. Hell's Angels on Wheels was directed by Richard Rush. It starred Jack Nicholson, Adam Rourke, and Sabrina Scarf. The film is about a timid man named Poet who longs to join an adventurous biker gang led by Buddy. After a while, Poet becomes a member and falls in love with Buddy's girlfriend, Shill. The gang marry two lovebird bikers while traveling the roads, causing chaos and having fun. The film doesn't have much of a plot. The scenes mainly consist of the bikers destroying things, drinking, and playing around. Now, when I came across this movie, I had some decent expectations. I thought this was going to be a really interesting sort of biker exploitation flick. And to know that Jack Nicholson was in it, and it was directed by Richard Rush, the guy who fucking made Psych Out, which is a movie I pretty much enjoyed. It had its flaws, but I enjoyed Psych Out. Unfortunately, I was severely let down. This movie is extremely disappointing. Very disappointing. Now on to the few strengths. The fight scenes are pretty entertaining. When you do see the fight scenes, the camera angles are not bad. They're pretty standard for a fight scene. Some of them are really poor in there. But yeah, the fight scenes can be entertaining. They're the highlight of this whole movie, basically. It was really... I saw a familiar actor. It was really cool to see Jack Starrett in here. He plays this hardball cop, Officer Bingham. Unfortunately, he's not really in the movie that much, but he does a serviceable job, and I thought it was pretty interesting how he played a cop in First Blood, and he's playing a cop here. It's just so cool to see him so young, you know? And, some of the music is good, I will admit. Some of it is, it's not extremely great, but it's passable. The scenery can be beautiful, even though you don't see enough of it. Some of the scenery, towards the end mainly, it's pretty nice looking. There's a really good scene where this lady talks to the gang leader Buddy, who is a decently entertaining dude. He's not the greatest, but he's decently entertaining. But he's talking to this lady, and she's like, "Well, when will you ever grow up? Will you get a job? Will you get married?" You know, and he's talking about how he's all set in his own ways, and he likes the way he's living. And I thought that was mildly interesting. You know, if the scene would have gone on longer, it would have given this movie a little bit more depth than it had. And now, onto the mother lode of weaknesses. The main character, Poet, he's a little bland. And I love Jack Nicholson. I'm going to be honest. I love Jack Nicholson. Almost every movie I've seen him in, I've loved his performance. He was the highlight of the movie. But, like John Candy and the Clown Murders, he just could not save this movie. Even John Candy and the Clown Murders did a better job than Jack here. He felt a little dull here. He felt a little sleepy here. He was very timid and not in the endearing way. There wasn't really much to his character, and it feels like he was just going through the motions in this movie. And the romance between Poet and Shill is so forced and uninteresting, and that takes up a good part of the movie. You see, when he first meets this Shill lady, he's like, all of a sudden, he's all goo-goo eyes in love, and she's so weird. She's so weird. She's hard to read. You know, she's like, oh, I'm into you, but oh no, I'm also into Buddy, but oh no, I want to feel loved, he doesn't love me, but oh no, I want to be into Buddy, and it's just, her character is all over the fucking place. And there's a scene where a sailor gets killed, and he gets killed in the stupidest way possible. He gets in a fight with the bikers, and you expect his death to be something fantastic, you know, something gory. Maybe he gets stabbed or slashed in the face. But he's fighting, I think it's the leader, Buddy. He's fighting Buddy, and Buddy has chains. And before he even hits the dude, he just kind of punches him, and he's dead. Really? That is not how you fucking die. He just randomly fucking dies out of nowhere. And it's not like this guy was fucking 70 years old to where, you know, it could have been a heart attack. This guy was a young guy, so it makes absolutely no fucking sense. And, oh yeah, this is, one of the biggest problems of the movies. Scenes drag on for so goddamn long. Like, especially the party scene. That is the longest scene, one of the longest scenes in the movies, where it's just a bunch of bikers, you know, they're making out, they're smoking dope, and they're painting ladies with these, okay, the designs on the ladies, they're pretty cool, I guess. But it goes on for so long, and it's so boring. It gets really boring and dull. And there's a scene where the bikers are all riding on leaves, you know, they're in this very leafy place. It looks like it's fall or something, and they're all riding around, and that goes on for a long time. There's a scene where they try to race up a mountain, which, as fun as that sounds, even that is executed poorly. And there's just straight up scenes of them driving with terrible music playing. And the plot takes a complete dive into two bikers getting married that we barely even know. I don't even think we even know their names. They might have said it somewhere in the film, but they just don't do anything. Like, the plot goes from Poet wanting to become part of their group, so he becomes part of their group, and then it's just these two bikers wanting to get married. So they get married, and the plot just goes on into directionlessness. And there's an awkwardly edited scene, where the bikers are fighting and the lover bikers, they're making out. And no joke, the scene is literally edited like this. Aside from the sailor's death, the second death, well, there's 3 deaths in total, but the second death is another really lackluster, lame death. They harass this old man on the road, and they drive him off, and you'd think his car would explode or something interesting would happen, but no, he just kind of rides off, and there's smoke coming out of there, and nothing. The officer bringing him comes back later and says, oh, you guys murdered him, but yet he lets them go. And, Jocko, oh yeah, this part really pissed me off. Jocko gets arrested for this murder. Well, he doesn't let him go. It was actually Jocko who was messing with him. So yeah, he gets Jocko, but then they come up with a plan to rescue him. And they skip the rescue scene. It literally goes from, oh, we're gonna rescue Jocko, and then it skips the whole combat fight scene with the police, and Jocko's free, and they all ride off. So we could have had an interesting action-packed moment that would have given this sleepy, dull, tired movie some action to it, some interesting scenes, and they just fucking cut it. This movie is such wasted potential. And this is by far the worst ending of all time. So Poet finds out from Shill that she's pregnant, you see. And after the whole movie, Buddy just sort of ignores it. He threatens him a few times, but it's very small threats. He just doesn't really seem to care. But after this whole movie, he finally gets angry at him. He's like, you take orders from me! You take orders from me! You know, and then they start fighting, but then they stop fighting. So Buddy gets on his fucking, his bike, and he runs through a window and tries to run Poet over, but he crashes and his bike explodes and he's an obvious dummy, and it makes no sense. Like, you can wipe out and not have your bike explode, and you'd think he'd move out of the way, because, I mean, there's just so much to unpack here. And then by far the worst part of this ending, and that's already a shitty ending, but the worst part is, it shows this really weird cropped image, and it's like, the end. And it looks like shit. So, all in all, I am extremely disappointed by this film. I expected it to be so much better than it was, and I thought it was going to be pretty cool, but this is really not worth your time. I would not recommend this. I'd honestly have to rate it a 4 out of 10. It's very much like Terror in the Midnight Sun, to where it's just, there's a few scenes where it's entertaining. I mean, there's a few more scenes in this movie where it's a little more entertaining from Terror in the Midnight Sun, but it's basically in the same lane, you know. Is this the worst biker flick I've ever seen? No. That prize goes to Savages from Hell. I fucking hate that movie, and I'm not sure if I will ever review or watch that shit again. But this is just a very, very dull, boring movie. It's very lackluster. It's directionless. The characters aren't all that interesting. This movie should have been called Bikers Doing Nothing, the movie. It is not worth anybody's time. If you like biker films, even if you like Jack Nicholson, you gotta skip this. This is probably his worst performance I've ever seen. I'm sorry, Jack, but that's the truth. Well, guys, that was my review of Hell's Angels on Wheels, and I will see you all next time.